What's going on, YouTube? KG here, back with another Marvel Contest of Champions, but also Transformers Forged to Fight video. So, we all know, if you've been following this channel, that I love Marvel Contest of Champions. Like, it's my A1 since day one, my numero uno. But, since playing Transformers Forged to Fight, I got 5 tips. If the developers of Marvel Contest of Champions happen to be watching, I got 5 tips that Marvel Contest of Champions can take from Transformers Forged to Fight. So, you know, obviously the fighting style in Transformers Forged to Fight is way different with the 3D model, ranged attacks, things like that. So I'm not talking about that stuff because I want Transformers Forged to Fight to be its own game. I would like to even see them add more ways that it's in fact its own separate game and not just a replicate of Marvel Contest of Champions. But there are some things that are similar, and there are some things that I think Transformers Forged to Fight does better. Now, number 1, bases. Common sense. I'm actually not a huge fan of bases in Transformers Forged to Fight. I'm not a huge fan of raiding bases and all of that, but how long have we seen this in Marvel Contest of Champions? Like 3 years, like almost 3 years, over 2 years. Bases have been coming soon, but yet they've never came. So I'm a big proponent that in any business and anything you do, you should never make promises that you can't keep. And every day that this is up there in Marvel Contest of Champions, it just becomes worse and worse for Kabam as a company, because they're showing us this thing that's coming soon that probably will never come. Now, I really think that if Kabam was smart, and if they have no intentions in bases ever coming soon, then what they should have done is when they wrote out Alliance War, they should have just called that bases. Like, that should have just been one thing. They should have made that together, so that way they don't have this thing that's just there. But that's enough on that. Another thing that I really like about Transformers Forged to Fight that I think Marvel Contest I think the Contest Champions could kind of take a tip from is in Forged to Fight, every bot serves a purpose. Every bot has utility. There's no awful bots. I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek because Mixmaster is pretty awful, but he does kind of have some advantages. Like, there are some things you can use him for. In Contest of Champions, there are tons and tons of champions that are 100% completely useless. Now, I will give Contest Champions credit. They have a lot more champions, so maybe if Transformers Forged to Fight had that many bots, there would be a lot that are useless. So, I don't know. Number 3 tip, away missions. Or, you know what I like about away missions, so I don't think they should add away missions into Contest of Champions because it really makes 0 sense. But what I love about it is it's something where it's taking your champions away from you, so you are giving something to get a reward, but you get an award while you're away. So when I go to sleep, I can turn on an away mission, my champions are being used, but when I get back on, I'm gaining this reward for something that I didn't really have to be in game to do. So it's not something for nothing because I'm using my champions and I can't use them in something else, so I have to pick and choose when I want to do away missions. But it's kind of cool to have this feature in the game that I can gain a reward while I'm away. Number 4, in Transformers Forged to Fight, there's a lot of small details in the design, and I don't feel like in Contest of Champions we have a lot of that. Now, what I do like about there's a lot of small details in bases. That's really cool. You'll notice a lot of different things within bases, hidden in the background, little Easter eggs here and there. That's really cool, but Forged to Fight has those as well. But Forged to Fight also has these columns these blocks and these things within the map that when you run into, they break. It doesn't obstruct anything. It's just kind of there and just kind of adds this cool, more lifelike feel to these bases. And then also, they have one of my favorite things, small details in the game, is that when I'm using Ironhide, okay, and I blast my opponent and my opponent is on fire, my opponent's really freaking on fire. Like, you see flames on him. But yet in Marvel Contest of Champions, when I'm using like Crossbones and I incinerate my opponent, he's on fire, he's incinerating, but yet there's nothing there. And I think that's a really cool design feature. I feel like that in Transformers Forged to Fight, there's more of those really cool design features that just kind of take it up a notch. And the inner dork in me, the inner creative, the inner designer in me really likes those little features. And I think that Marvel Contest of Champions could add more of those little cool design features into the game. And no, I'm not talking about making it freaking snow. It's not what I'm talking about. Like, they get a creative idea, they're like, hey, let's make it snow for like a year. It's not what I'm talking about. Number 5, Transformers Forged to Fight. There's a lot of things that are just a lot more fluid, a lot more smooth, and make the playing of it a lot easier. So what I'm going to talk about, I'm talking about a lot of things. For example, arena fights. In arena fights, when you get done fighting one fight, and it brings you up to the screen, you can choose an option to just go straight to the next fight. Now you can go back to your main fights, or you can go straight to the next fight. In Marvel Contest of Champions, at the moment, you don't have that feature. I do think, based on the notes we read in yesterday's video, that that's going to be something that's going to be added, but it is really cool just to be able to go to the next fight. It makes it a lot faster, it makes it a lot more fluid and smoother. And another thing that's really cool is after you get done with an arena fight, you can click help and you can just multi-click them. So like, I can just click, click, click. I don't have to click, wait for it to submit, and then go to the bottom, then click, wait for it to submit, go to the bottom, click, wait. I can just click, 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 help submitting, they go to the bottom. And it's just a lot smoother, a lot more fluid. Another thing that just kind of is little, but in arena or in quests, I don't have to click and drag my bot into place. And the same, I don't have to click and drag my bot out of place. I can just click the bot and he automatically goes to place, because obviously that's what I'm trying to do there. Another thing that's a little bit easier is in arenas. In Marvel Contest of Champions, when I'm fighting, it does tell me if I have an advantage or disadvantage, but I have to remember the class advantages and disadvantages, which after over 2 years of playing isn't difficult, but for a new player that was confusing, and you would have to play around with them to see where your best advantages and disadvantages are. In Transformers Forged to Fight, it automatically tells you that. If you click a bot, it says, here there's an advantage and here there's a disadvantage, and I know exactly where to put them, and it just makes it a lot easier. And as a new player playing Forged to Fight, and you don't necessarily remember all of the advantages and disadvantages, it makes it a lot easier for me to put my bots in the best place possible for them to go. You also, when you're upgrading your champions in Forged to Fight, you have this thing called Smart Select. So if I choose one ore, which is their version of ISOs, if I choose an ore, I can Smart Select and it'll choose every ore that's right there that makes sense, that's smart to select, instead of me having to go through like a Marvel Contest of Champions and click each and every one of them, because that just takes a long time. Now, it's not as bad as it used to be, but when you're upgrading a 5-star champion, or you're upgrading a 4-star champion to rank 440 or 550, something like that, and you're using these 75s and 125 ISOs, it takes for freaking ever to go through and click every single one of them and have to keep doing that. where in Transformers Forged to Fight, this Smart Select just makes a lot of sense. I don't know why that's not in Contest of Champions. And then a very recent change, to Forged to Fight that just came with the last update is if I'm in an event quest and I need energy, you know, and I go to hit that help request energy, I don't have to wait for my alliance to jump on that. It automatically gives me three energy, so I can move another space or two, and it doesn't seem like a big of a deal. When I read that in the notes, I was like, well, that really doesn't matter. But now that I have it, and then when I go to Marvel Contest of Champions and I don't have it, it's a really cool feature. Because there's been, just since this update, for like 2 weeks, there's probably been like 10 times in 2 weeks that I'm 1 tile away from a boss or 2 tiles away from a boss. And clicking help, I automatically get that energy needed to get to the boss and free up my champions or free up my bots or do whatever else is needed. And then there's been another 5 or 6 times in Marvel Contest of Champions where I'm in the same scenario, I press it, and now I have to wait. Sometimes my alliance may not jump on my help request, and I have to wait 15 to 20 minutes to move those extra few tiles to get to the boss to free up my champions or do whatever is needed. So that's actually a really cool feature to have as soon as you click the help request, to have those added into your energy stash immediately. And also on top of that, you don't have to wait nearly as long in Forged to Fight for that to be able to happen again. 5 things that won't change Contest of Champions that I feel like are these things that are little minute details that Transformers Forged to Fight has that Contest of Champions doesn't have. And I think all 5 of these things just make it a little bit easier and make the game a lot more fluid and smooth. Now they're little, but I feel like they're actually pretty big when you really think about it. What are some other things that, if you play both games, that you would like to see added into Marvel Contest of Champions? Or maybe you would like to see some things from Marvel Contest of Champions added into Transformers Forged to Fight. Again, Marvel Contest of Champions is definitely my favorite out of the 2 games. Absolutely love it. I do really like Transformers Forged to Fight, but I absolutely love Marvel Contest of Champions, and I would like to see them both kind of get up to this great level that I know they could be with easeability and fluidity within each game. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know about these 5 tips that I have, if you think they're yay or nay or anything like that. If you liked the video, make sure to leave me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, I don't know what the crap you're waiting for. Jump on that, quit being a hater, press that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.